tremendous amount of pace. Like Insight whips out the SMG. He's able to run and gun with Joe Deceives and Kleenex, and then Beans, you know he's always going to be the aggressive AR. They don't focus on rotations. They focus on being a team in towards the hard point and finding breaks when they need to. So Boston need to match that pace.
Here we go, Toronto, Boston. One of these two teams will make it to Sunday. And at the moment, it is Toronto looking like favorite again based off this series set. But can one of the SMGs for Boston turn up? We're about to find out. Can first two kills over the top of the hard point. Do not allow Toronto to actually stay in the hill whatsoever. That's a decent moment for Boston to just get themselves in control of the high ground and put themselves in the hill.
Yeah, but the spawns do flip now, so Ultra looking for their way in towards this P1. They find 3 initial kills, all 4 dead now. All of your focus is on the top side of Plat. So 20 seconds to fight for here at the opening HP. If you're Boston, now we need to start developing on some routes because we don't want to be in the back foot for that P2.
And the last thing you want here is to allow Toronto to rotate well, because they are the worst team at hardpoint in rotating, but they're so good and so efficient at staying in the hills, especially when it comes to their hold percentages. So you really have to put the stress on them on rotation and try to create some openings, and there we go, exactly as the doctor had ordered. Flip of the spawns come through, little push through patio for Toronto on the way, but Boston in the hill for now.
Oh, but Kleenex finds a double. Both those players from Boston are instantly going to spawn all the way across the map. The pressure is going to be here. The break is in for Ultra. Snoopy just trying to play his life towards the backside. The stun is able to connect. Not able to get anything done, but at least you stall out time. Your teammates are right back in.
Yeah, really good stuff from Gammy, finding 2, keeping himself alive, allowing Purge to come back into the play. And now it's Snoopy trying to hunt to see where these Toronto Ultra members are. Tough battle with Joe Deceives, and that's 2 dead. Now all of a sudden Ultra looking to break on from multiple points of ingress. Gammy shut it down 1, turns, almost able to find the track down to Joe, but not quite, and Ultra will find a break.
Another clean break there from Ultra. It's a lot easier when you're finding kills in sync. 2 go down. You know you have the numbers advantage, but the re-breaks for Boston have been perfect. Purge works on in. He's able to find a double. Boston have a slim lead going in towards P3. Toronto cut their losses early off the rotation to new.
Good shutdown.
This is what you need to do if you're Boston. Keep on trading before that new hill pops.
Yep, Purge on the hunt. Hearing shots all around him. Can't be able to find Kleenex inside the hill. Purge shut down. Snoopy, next one up. Seen immediately by Toronto, and that will be 3 dead. Last one left alive is Awakening on the cross through Hot Top. Nice shots from Joe to follow up with the team shots from his squad mates, and that's enough now for Toronto to get themselves very comfortable in this hill.
Yeah, now Boston are banking on some routes. Purge hits all the way through top. Cat drops his way into bedroom, and his teammates thankfully are finding kills around that mid-map area, so you just need to find a trade on the Joe. Able to shut him down off of that 5 streak. The break comes in for Boston. Still a lot of time to fight for.
Kleenex in a little bit of trouble here. Boston still supplying support on this cross. A little bit of help from Cammy. He shuts down 1. Purge able to take care of Kleenex before he can get off the regen, and Beans will also be shut down. Now you can start to play through the hill and over to Nude. Inside though, able to keep himself alive. Help on the way for Toronto. And a read from Insight that Snoopy is still playing backside of P4. Toronto taking their focus purely on rotation, and Boston will really not have much effort to really deal with this unless Snoopy can finesse.
Oh, Snoopy already finds 1 kill, but Joe responds with 3 of his own, so 2-2 split right now. This player spawns right next to Insight, and that's due to just Snoopy finding that kill at that time, staying alive in that position.
There you go.
We look like Boston were going to lose this rotation. Snoopy makes another great play.
Beans trying to feel things out. Front side bedroom, able to find 1. Joe another. That will clear off the hard point, but it's not enough for Ultra to try to push through. Spawns are actually out though because of this route from Kleenex, and he's able to find 2. What an immediate flip that is for Ultra. A chance to get back into the driving seat.
Second best breaking team that we have on Skyline, and they have a lot of reps to show it. Just cannot allow these individuals to make these kind of plays. Purge sneaks his way through the back line. Now you have 2 players from Ultra spawning all the way across the map. Purge missed the Purge. He's having himself a moment.
Yeah, really good pickup as well on that pinch from Awakening to Cammy. Just turning and making sure the Toronto reinforcements are shut down at mid-pool. Really well done here by Boston. Keep their lead. Last 12 seconds also looking good as Toronto's largely trying to get themselves set up around P1. Joe Deceives down low, shut down from hitting the old time, and the follow-up from Purge, 4 in a row, 13-11 for him.
Oh, Purge is having a fantastic start to this game. If you're Ultra, you're the #1 holding team on Skyline, but multiple money hills you're instantly getting broken into. Setup's got to be better on the second half. A 40-point lead right now for Boston. Spawns a little bit scattered for Ultra, so they have a natural pinch going. They're going to find a break, but Purge on 5 in a row already earned himself a Hellstorm.
And he's looking for more. Purge over the top of the hot tub. Help from Cammy. Now they've got gym control. Toronto trying to fork on that, but no, not going to work out whatsoever. Insight trying to jump into the pool, but nothing there either. And how about Boston? Looking really clean. Another 3 dead. They're going to get control of the hot tub and have a chance to move across the map.
The pacing is beautiful right now for Boston. You're setting these players on individual routes. They're clutching up on multiple one-on-one gunfights. Now a 60-point difference. Purge almost finds another double, but the teammates are still soaking up a lot of time here.
Yeah.
For Ultra, down by 70, you need this P2 to get back in this game.
And CleanX off of his weird spawn, able to allow that to eliminate the player inside the hardpoint. But for the moment, Boston looking pretty comfortable on the scoreboard. Trying to break across as P2's about to open. Nice moment here as we jump to a breach. Listen in.
I don't see him. I'll work
Yeah, you can come.
Yeah, yo, back last flat, boys. Yo, two on the left, two on the left.
Yeah, watch out, you'll play,
Yeah.
you know.
Take your time.
One back left last.
Top mid on me.
Yeah, top mid, push you, CleanX. Top mid, really. Low piano dead.
One shot couches, guys.
Nice.
Top,
He's
top,
going
top,
left. He's going back left. Nice, yeah, in the back, Joe. He's low. Go zip, or top piano.
They were split too.
He's going last flat, guys.
High class.
Yeah, could be in the back still,
One
boys.
is top mid too. He's gonna be in the back, Joe. I'm on
Yeah, yo, he's on the left. He's in the back, Joe. In the back. Back steps, show the seams. Back steps, show the seams.
Take your time.
Yeah, they spawn there. Two glass.
Yeah, hit this.
Go to
Yeah,
left. He's gonna go do it, I think. Or maybe couches.
Yeah, I don't
Top right. You see me.
Come on,
Top ult.
inside we can hold, guys. Okay.
Where's the one though?
You want glass plaque and on ult.
Okay,
Top mid.
Good try and pinch this stuff, maybe. Two. I'm on you, bro.
He want Joe to Sieves. He want Joe that.
Fireplace, please.
I'm one shot. Last night's we mid, boys. I'm home there. I'm just
Go glass
holding. He's top mid. He's above me. He's across me. Top mid.
Fireplace. One shot.
Yeah, there's back time, boys. Just back time.
Two.
Yeah,
More big fireplace on you.
yeah.
Take your time. I'll spawn mid.
Their side, the two, three their side, guys.
I'm going with you guys.
Watch out. I was on time. And fireplace weak too. Goes our side.
Yeah, I'm telling you left, guys. Nothing on the left. Don't see it. Left.
Watch out,
Yeah, I'm getting top mid, guys. They can beat their side. Yo, they can beat their side, bro. Half mid. Nothing mid. Bang in their side, boys. Bang in their side. Nice. One more close. Joe Sieves. Last guy. Nice, boys. Good fucking shit.
I'm gonna pinch him.
Yes. Step Evans pinching, boys. I'm gonna help us get on time, okay?
Yeah, back up,
Yeah, try step, Joe.
He's back left.
Deep left, Jamie. Low bed, okay. I'm trying to get it. Yeah, push me nice.
Joe's in the hall. You guys are missing one close on you guys. I'm one shot to this guy.
Be back right. Yeah, already back right, boys. Really weak. Okay, he dropped. You're good. He's back right in the low push. He might jump top. Nice.
No holes at all in the setup for Boston. They are absolutely on par when it comes to counting numbers, knowing who's missing, knowing where to get their trades, and it's leading to this 50-point game.
And look, even off the rotation, they are playing it to perfection. They know, all right, we lost that initial gunfight. Let's play a little bit safer. We clutch up on the second half with kills. And they're still maintaining the better side of the map. Finally, Ultra through bottom bed. Still a Hellstorm in the back pocket for Joe to Siege. You're not going to need it here. As Purge is going to invest his to just force all of Toronto indoors, and now you take the back.
Oh, absolute disaster. Clears out all the hit from the front. And now you know Awakening's playing on the backside of Staircase. Nades and stuns moving their way forward. Beans has his gun up. CleanX off the regen. And is that the lifeline that Toronto needed? One more player in the back to Snoopy. He will drop. That's essentially full time for Toronto. And we're going to have nearly a tie game as we rotate into the third set of hills.
And Ultra, thankfully, Purge just gifted that one. Set up for a full 60 hold out of Money Hill. Now a 20-point difference. Last time it was Boston Breach soaking up a lot of this P one time, but Insight already catches a player crossing over towards that new HP. Ultra just need a couple kills in sync, but they lose 3.
It's all 4 down for the moment. CleanX just have to wait. Teammates still spawning in good, and now CleanX can make his move. Oh, and has he ever made a move? He's got Cammy weak inside the hard point. Can't quite finish off the kill. Tries to dive on forward, and there you go. That's 3 dead. One more to find. That's Snoopy up top, and he really can't challenge from this position, but still gets figured out. So a potential lead swap on the way. Boston maybe cuts their losses here, trying to play through the middle of the map, and that put pressures on Beans. He's got to watch this pinch play.
You can't really afford to give up this time, though, if you're Boston. You got to get him off of it. You know, Ultra already had that rotation over towards New. Beans able to line up a double the other AR. Inside finds the other 2. So Ultra going to be able to potentially soak with this final 10. They had the rotations to do, but this 2 times now at P2, where they're just allowing Boston to walk right through the front door. Setup needs to be better.
Well, so far, the feel of where the pressure is coming from has been pretty well received here by Toronto. And we're going to get our lead swap right here, right now. Purge. Up close and personal to find Joe Deceives. Follow up, yep, it's there for Snoopy. So creates an opening towards the bottom side of this hard point. Spawns her out. Chance here for Boston. Snoopy finds another. CleanX in trouble. Tries to jump off the elevator shaft. Finds himself one now back into the hill. He's got help nearby. This is absolutely massive. He can find one more kill, but no, not going to happen. And Boston will get the flip.
Perfect break right there from Boston. A lot of time still to fight for. Just got to hold down on this first wave. Snoopy at 22 HP is just going to get on out. Teammates are able to pick it up for him. They're winning the trade fights, but Joey SMD and Mr. Beans at least still make it mixy, but Boston still holding.
Yeah, Toronto does not want to get rid of this time. They're going to try to challenge this. Snoopy almost able to find two. Instead, the break is in for the scrap. 15 seconds for Toronto. Focus down towards P3, made difficult by this player over at Hot Tub. That's Beans with a sub in hand, of all things. Here comes the flood from the front. Cammy still tucked into a corner, looking for another, and Cammy's going to take down two. We've got a tie game, and we rotate to Kitchen.
Boston are set up. Just don't allow Beans with the SMG to break you down. He's able to find a double through TVs. Puts the numbers in favor of Ultra. They take the numbers, they find a break. Boston got to work back in.
It's a straight square up. Joe trying to create space through mid. Seeing if he can find the way to maybe even move the spawns around, but his teammates inside the hardpoint are doing all the work for him at the moment. Boston cannot find a way to break through. This trophy system has been so significant to stopping Boston's utility. Now the reset. 225, 203. Boston have to find a way to contest.
And Purge gets nothing through that top hallway position, so now you know. We already watched the OE. All we have to do is put our focus on the front. Finally, inside is going to get taken care of. But Ultra still have an opportunity to win it here. Yep. Another 4 dead. And Spawns flip. Boston got to go.
Oh, and Joe's got the perfect read on this. That's 41 for him in the map on 4 in a row. Here's the final moment. Can anyone possibly get there to touch? It doesn't look likely for Boston. Someone's going to have to be a hero trying to dive forward. Cammy, can you get there? Can you try to touch in time? Joe deceives on 5 in a row. A couple of the trades come through. Hardpoint goes neutral. Do they flip the spawns?
Oh my God.
Yes, they do. This is still doable. 205, 249. Toronto don't get in time to get the tick.
Setup needs to be perfect if you are Boston. All of Toronto approaching from that kitchen side. They're not going to be ready for it.
Do they have a read? Awakening? No, not the case. Here comes the full flood around the back. Do they line up for Red Cammy? No, not quite. You got to win this if you're Purge. Here comes the hit from the front. Purge only finds one in Toronto. They fall flood. They break. They get the final second, and they get map 1.
Boston gave themselves a shot right there at the ending of the game. You're able to flip those spawns. You're just not able to read where the pressure is coming in. You were putting a lot of focus on bedroom, a lot of focus through top plat. But 3 players from Ultra commit on the OE. They trade it out, flip you across the map, and then isolate onto Purge to close that one out. But just to rewind a little bit, Purge's Hellstorm is the difference in that entire game.
It really is, dude. It really is. It's such a feels bad moment because you're just trying to force everyone into that front closet, seeing if you can just trade them out, throw nades, throw stuns, but Hellstorm do Hellstorm things. But 45 and 29 for Joe Deceives, 36 non-traded, 5,100 damage. Mercy. Absolute takeover map for Joe. And a lot of it actually came after the first rotation was already done.
If you're Ultra, you're happy. You're still going to be dominant at Skyline. Not as clean as you wanted it to be because you were allowing Boston every single time they needed to break. Just walking through the front door. Everyone was playing fantastic, but as soon as that Hellstorm gets invested, you could just tell how that made such a big difference in the game. Ultra were down by 50. They hold down that P4 to only be down by 10. Then you keep it scattered the rest of the way. You dominate off the rotation towards P3 with Beans making a massive double kill with that SMG. And I thought if I'm Boston, we were playing fantastic. Yeah. It's just that one mishap unfortunately cost you.
The other side of that is while we were in the Boston listening, you kept hearing Joe Deceives is here, Joe Deceives is there. Yeah. That was in that moment that he goes on 7 in a row, and it's just like they can't find him. He was just too slippery around the back. Spawns eventually moved, but yeah, unfortunately that moment followed up by the Hellstorm was the door opening for Toronto in this comeback effort. Boston gave themselves a heck of a chance. It's just, as we started to get out of 2 and into 3, Toronto getting there first, getting their AR set up, allowing Joe to kind of float through mid-map, forcing those spawns to have to flood from the front is also another nice little micro moment that you look at and say, yeah, Toronto's playing great hardpoint right now.
That's crazy to say because Des touched on it. They most likely love to play the 2-3-5s. They're a phenomenal search and destroy team, one of the best that we have in the league. Been banking on their controls recently as well. But Boston, in my opinion, we're outclassing them that entire hardpoint.
They really were.
One mishap there. Again, just comes back to bite them. Now you're down on 1. You need to try to respond on a Skyline search and destroy where you did play it in your series previously. And there is that one round that stands out again. Yeah. You shoot yourself in the foot with Cammy finding that team to go with the knife. So now down 0-1, Boston needs to have those response in S&D.
You shake that off. That stuff happens. It's just one of those things.
Can't really shake it off in this moment.
Well,
though.
Not in this moment, but back then you say, okay, we're still good. We're still chilling. We're still hanging. But still, I think there is a level of Toronto was able to finesse this map pool really nicely because you just take away their Hacienda search. You don't want to play Toronto on red card, so it forces you to have to pick your next best map, which happens to be one of Toronto's best maps, which is the Skyline coming up.
It's crazy because Toronto recently added this one to their map pool. They played it for the very first time in Major 2 qualifiers, all the way into Game 5. The second time we saw it was today versus Optic. You were able to clutch up, dominate that map, realize, okay, they're not taking any space over towards A. Let's just get the bomb down. The first 2 post plants, they'll go the best, but adjustments start to come on in. They were able to break them down with ease. That's got to be a tough one there if you are Boston. Got to be able to shake this one off. Skyline search and destroys all of your focus here.
Yep. Have to have it, and that's the other part about this is with their control being as poor as it is, this is a must-win now.
Yep.
You feel like you missed an opportunity in map number 1. You cannot let the same things happen here on Skyline for your second attempt on the day. So that's where the pressure point kind of starts to amount. We lock in, we get loaded up to go. Skyline once more, and then we'll have protocol for the control. And this is going to be one of those matchups that you look at and say, Boston, prove it. Like, can you get to Sunday? Can you show us that this roster is for real? And it's not just one of those that kind of has a flash in the pan type moment. Beat a major opponent, something they really haven't done all year. Except for the win versus Thieves.
Now to give yourself a little bit of a cushion in the points for champs. Extra 15 if you're able to walk away with this series. You're real tight in that top 8. This S&D could it be bigger for the Breach squad. Snoopy, we saw him earlier on, just finding a lot of success being the aggressor over towards A. They're going to start off on the attack, and there's no trophy systems to work with. Let's instantly apply that pressure.
Yep, just cutting through mid-pool, right back onto the bomb, Snoopy working on the plan. Seen this a lot. Toronto, when we watch them play this map, do prefer to play for retake. They let the bomb go down a lot, but they also retake successfully a lot of this map. So what do they try to develop here with Todesius trying to feel things out at mid? He's been found and isolated. Really good opening first blood, but it is traded. This perch drops at around the bomb site. So now here comes the next play forward, and CleanX gets the big win. Now CleanX looking for a possible defuse.
Now Toronto, no, they have no site control. They have to be setting up on a proper angle to watch it. Kami at least gives up his positioning by finding that 1 kill. You're going to have someone on a defuse, but Awakening with the repositioning, too good, 1v1.
It's forced this if you're in sight. Kami on the other side. These 2 guys know each other pretty darn well. Does he check in time?
Oh my God.
I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get there in time.
That's demoralizing.
Yep.
That is absolutely demoralizing because 15 seconds, you're thinking, okay, I have a lot of time to work with. All I have to do is check at 7. But the instant hop there from Insight has so many big moments in Search and Destroy throughout his career. Massive cojones there to not chase for the kill, instantly hop the defuse, secure that round there for Ultra.
2 EU players who have a wide berth of experience with one another. And Insight just calls it perfectly. 31 HP, 1 bullet away was Kami. So opening round goes to Toronto, now their time to attack. Oh, that's a good read.
Perfect shoulder there from Insight, gains the early info. The stun is able to back them down. You don't want to have your bomb carrier potentially going to get isolated over towards A, but the entire time while all this action is going down, look at CleanX.
Yeah, he's trying to play through the elevator. He's already on his way up. He's around the backside of the play. Oh, this could get nasty. Only finds the first. Is there a trade in the way? Yes, there is. That doesn't really do too much besides just open up some space at A for Toronto to work with.
You got Insight giving all the communication. He spots them all across their spawn. So Ultra just like, all right, we're not going to plant it at A. We're going to work our way over towards B. But now Insight potentially going to be isolated. Man advantage in favor of Boston. We got to get this bomb down.
Got to hold your life here if you're Beans. 2v3 situation. Bomb has not been planted yet. It doesn't happen often here on this B site, and that's the reason why. Wow. I love that re-rotation back from Boston, though. You get the trade onto the player through elevator shaft, and then you immediately flip the map again by trying to push through. Yes, it's scouted, but it's still difficult to deal with for Toronto.
Yeah, it's good stuff right there from Boston, because once they push on through, they don't commit to flank on the backside of bar. They take top plat. They're more than happy to have that mid-map control. So they're able to gain that info, isolate onto Insight, put them in a man advantage, and then obviously, you know, the play's not at A. We can start to slowly work our way over towards B. It was Purge. An individual play there to hit the zip, to win the one-on-one. Doesn't allow Ultra to even attempt that bomb plant, but all tied up at 1. Boston looking to fix those mistakes that they made in round 1, but CleanX, the deciding factor, whips out the AR for the opening 2.
Yeah, different look here from Toronto, just a full flood over through Piano. Snoopy's caught, nowhere to go. That's one of those blind counter rounds, and that's, I think, just generally Toronto knowing that Boston are not going to try to full flood you through kitchen. They're going to want to go through pool first.
And that's exactly what they did in their opening offense. So they said, okay, if you're going to do it again, this time we're going to be prepared for it. Pull out the proper guns for the battle. CleanX opens up with the first two. Not a single player from Ultra drops on that round. All defenses so far on this skyline. Now, if you are Boston, I know the play initially to start it off was that top hallway control, but we really don't want Ultra to get this bomb planted.
Well, Toronto's just going to feel things back out over through pool again. CleanX going to get really far forward as Boston will make the exchange by trying to get aggressive through vent this time. Bomb's already planted, though, and this post plant can rewrap this.
Yeah, now you're just banking on Purge to catch the timing on the pinch. CleanX again with the flank, opens up the first kill. This time he has Beans for the assistance numbers in favor of Ultra. Beans again strikes on 3 in a row. 1v3 for Purge.
Man, nowhere to go. You just don't expect that two players are playing through that pinch through piano side. You initially get the first and you say, okay, we traded him, we're good. Nope, Beans is there too. So Boston get caught. A little bit trying to counter what Toronto had done their first round, saying, you want to play through elevator shaft, we'll send someone down there as well, but this doesn't work out.
And that's the thing about Boston Search and Destroy that tends to give them a couple issues, is that round, you send out Purge instantly through underground. You're giving up the A site. You're trying to play for that mid-map control, but you don't even have players in that position. You were banking on what Purge can get done on a pinch, but then when you don't watch your own flanking, CleanX opens up the first blood. Purge is completely irrelevant on the round, so Ultra up by 2 now. Back on the defense. Boston are trying to set the tone. Just plant the bomb immediately.
Yeah, able to push the defender off of the angle deep through this back patio position. Cammy going to voluntarily give away a little bit of space, but he's got to watch 2 things at once here. He actually does find 1. First blood through pool still goes the way of Toronto. Bomb planted 4v3.
Oh, finding that first blood makes this retake a whole lot easier, but Cammy with the heads-up route. Can his teammates try to stall out time? He's at least able to find one, but man advantage still Ultra.
Yeah, now they're trying to isolate. Cammy, nice double coming through, but he is traded away. Now it's down to Snoopy for the 1v2. One more to find to the corner. Yes! How about that for Snoop? Able to lock things down. A 3v4 post plant hold for Boston.
And that's such a heads-up play there from Cammy. He was able to spot CleanX on the bottom side. Joe Deceives just gets a kill from top plat. So instead of getting isolated on the pinch, repositioning through top hall, drop down into gym allows you to find a double. You give enough time there for Snoopy to isolate on 1 gunfight and then snap for the second. Boston able to secure the round. Down by 1 now.
Yep. Massive play though from Snoop. There we go. Toronto going to show their own first really aggressive push on towards A, and it's just a messy one. Battles all over the place. Snoopy traded out. Still more to come though, and that's a nice little back and forth pinstripe kill. We go. Joe in trouble, but oh, actually they put the last shot onto Purge. So now it's just down to Awakening. He's already caught. Wow. Okay, that was as quick as you'd like, and that A hit just unfolds in favor of Toronto.
Yeah, that's one of those situations there. Like if you're Purge, you make it a 2v2. You found yourself an angle to potentially get on out, but 1 shot still committing on the gunfight. You know that CleanX was weak. Once you drop, put Awakening in a really tough situation there. As Toronto matched the pacing over at A, even though the first blood go in favor of Snoopy. Just able to out-trade a little bit better on that round. 2-round advantage again.
What's the call here if you're Boston? Right back to the same offense they'd pulled from before. Just make their way through pool. This time no one's watching the backside of kitchen though, so you have to be worried about that. Stun Dates come through. Purge trying to break a timing, and he will find Beans, who's often the island player on piano. That'll move the defense around a little bit, even though the trade comes through.
But with Purge making that aggressive play, you would want to get this objective down. He's now slowly working his way up through bottom gym. Joe gets the info, at least 2 players there, and he's able to walk away with 1. Now Awakening trapped in the corner. He should get isolated.
Yeah, I don't know what they thought they had the freedom to make that play happen. Joe just rotates back up top like he should after Beans drops. And now he's able to just lock them down. You also got CleanX on your pinch. That was a little too eager, I would say, if you're Boston. You get the kill into Beans, you're thinking we can force it through there, but Joe is the rotate man. He's always been the pivot player in that situation.
I also think that round is done a lot sooner because if you're Purge, you already find yourself in a great position. We're trying to be Superman in that situation to catch that time and to catch them off guard because CleanX has worked that pinch every single time. You got 1 kill, but you didn't really have a lot of map control to work with it. Objective couldn't go down. You force your teammates to start think about that rotation over towards B. But Toronto just trapped them.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
It's just you have to throw someone back if Beans falls. It's Joe, and he's just comfortable in that position playing for topside windows. So now 5-2 the count. Toronto have a lot of rounds to play with if they want to try something risky, which this might lead to it. Kleenex up and over. Yeah, there's one for free. No one's checking for it. Long range shots for 2, and not able to slip away from the trade, but it's done. It's over. Ultra just getting away with murder. Just throw a curveball because you're up 5-2, so why not try something weird?
Yeah, you can just do whatever the hell you want. Kleenex every single time you hit that pinch route, either through bottom gym or through underground, he was always finding an opening kill. Also, we're just trying to stack their way through top mid, because usually when you watch Ultra in their last series, it was all out pressure from bottom bed, work your way with your stuns, plant the bomb immediately at A. But this time it was a slow approach, and that caught Boston off guard. A lot of players just getting isolated in some of these gunfights. They didn't have situations where they could play the man advantage correctly. But basically what we saw in the round number 1 is how Boston felt throughout that entire map. The Ninja Diffuse comes in for insight, and Ultra could do no wrong after that.
Yeah, it just didn't really feel like Boston was able to kind of adjust and adapt to what Toronto was throwing at them. A couple of rounds where you saw what Boston was attempting to do, sometimes blind countered, but mostly that play on offense where they're trying to push through pool. As soon as it gets countered the first time, didn't really feel like there was another plan.
Yeah.
So it just feels like, again, this Boston team is a little bit on the weaker side compared to some of our top squads that are out there in the 2, 3, and 5 in particular, and the 3 especially, which I'm sure is going to be talked about plenty on the desk. But after a barn burner map number 1, very convincing result for Toronto on map 2 as we head back to the desk.
After looking at this bracket, I think we should petition to remove halftime. There have been so many 3-0s. No one is coming back with more energy. Can Boston do it here, Merc? What have you seen through the opening 2 maps?
Well, not what you would want to see if you're a Boston fan. I mean, just losing map 1, that was sort of the key. They were in control early. They had, what, like a 50 to 60 point lead kind of below that. And you lose your hard point, and now, you know, what the Tasters were just talking about. They have just not been a great control team, one of the worst in the league, and you're down 0-2.
Let's take a look at Search and Destroy Alley, because some big rounds, some clutches coming through. Snoopy with the 1v2 for Boston, but outside of that, it was Toronto's game.
Yeah, they went out with a whimper, and this one's to the side of Boston Breach. Toronto Ultra, I think the most impressive thing to me is I love the way they played this Search and Destroy. They kind of didn't really allow Boston Breach to get the bomb down very often, as they are the worst retake team in the league. So what do? They found an open lane, and I've never seen a team play more confident when they get that lane, when they find the lane that's open. Like, Toronto Ultra would find that open lane, and they just started sprinting. They just started sprinting the Boston Breach's spawn, which created this awkward situation where all these players kept getting isolated, and even when they tried to wrap back, they kept running into 2 Toronto Ultra players that were kind of wolfpacking around the map, and Boston Breach, there was just no adjustments that could be made throughout the entirety of this Search and Destroy.
Joe Deceives goes on another terror and Surge. Kleenex has a great game. Ant, what did you earn throughout this series?
I mean, yeah, just in that Search and Destroy, just so prepared. I mean, now they're 4-0 on Skyline S&D. They've added it to their map pool, and you got to go into these series thinking, like, that's just a map we can't play against them. They have so many different looks. You saw immediately, like, Insight with the Snake Diffuse. After that, we're just going to all bang piano. There's no way you're getting it down at A without us finding that first kill. And now you start thinking in your head, where do I even go? I'm just going to play a little bit slower. They just kept Boston guessing the entire time. Toronto on point.
I just ran into Envoy backstage from LA Thieves, and I was like, how is Envoy waiting here on a Saturday? Oh, yes, Boston beat them day 1, Joe. Boston get back to that form moving forward, but first, let's take a look at how you lost game 1. You were up by 40.
Man.
Score streaks. Nade Shot would have been raging if he owned Boston Breach.
I mean, Purge was the 5th man on the map for the side of Toronto Ultra. He accidentally takes out 2 of his teammates, and that allows an extra 20 seconds for Toronto Ultra to kind of put themselves back into this hard point, and from then on, it was just a really good rotation off of that P2. They ended up getting broke there, but then it's just a picture-perfect P4 to close out this series. Unfortunate for the side of Boston.
The reason they're so dominant at this map is because Toronto is the best, like, P1 into P2 team in the league. They get so much time on that P1, and they just put you in a blender. Teams have to start realizing that and just trying to flip the map.
Texas, I saw a few yawns out there. Get some caffeine and let's get fired up, because there's not many matches left. You can see at the bottom of your screen, we are currently finding out who powers into the top 4. Ultra 1 map away, and we still have a banger to go tonight, Joe.
No, we do. I mean, listen, no one just really thought the bracket was going to play out this way, and this is just what happens when you have some early upsets. I mean, you know, Ultra, you know, they get some key wins here, but A lot of people thought maybe we'd see FaZe, LA Thieves earlier in the winners bracket final. We don't. Or so you're going to have FaZe versus Surge tomorrow. The next one should be a banger. Like if we're going to have a game 5, it should be between Cloud9 and LA Thieves.
Oh, yeah.
Shift, I just walked by a fan who hasn't changed his Boston jersey in 3 days. Give him hope. How's he get it done?
Well, I don't know. Can't really build out too much hope, unfortunately, because the control hasn't been great. Jay, you did say, though, when we were kind of looking at the statistics, it's odd because as we go to this next map, Boston's offense has been good on the control. Their defense hasn't been so good.
I don't know how that makes sense.
Me neither.
Because usually on all these control maps, you prefer the defensive side. But for some reason in Boston's sense, they can't figure it out on defense. They get outslayed on defense. That's a big problem. You can't really find pacing. You're allowing a lot of segments to get away from you. And now you're 5 and 15 in total so far on the season in this game mode. This is going to be a tough. Yeah, this is really going to be tough.
Just got to get a lockdown break off, I should say, when you're on the defensive side. Get a couple of kills. Just don't get too crazy with it. I think that's the other side of the problem here when it comes to watching Boston on control. It's like one player on defense will get to a good spot. Yeah. And instead of just like controlling the spawns, manipulating the map, they're trying to find kills, and they just get instantly traded, and that pressure is immediately alleviated. So that's maybe one of the things that you look at Boston saying, like, we don't have to be world starring everybody. Let's just, force them to be in the worst position possible.
Yeah, we don't have the overheat. Like, that's the perfect terminology there. And I feel like the player that I'm talking about for Boston that usually finds himself in that situation is Purge. If you find yourself in a great position, play your corners, play your timing, pull up the back button to see what time they're coming off of the respawn so you can set up on that repinch. But just don't give up your life for free here because Kleenex and Joe DeCease played this map earlier today and they were just so annoying to play against. Backs against the wall though, sometimes when you play your best Call of Duty, it has to start now for Boston.
Absolutely does. And it needs to be all 4 members as well. Let's put that into the world of possibility. Because so far, it really has been kind of individual star performances with a small supporting cast when Boston has gotten through the bracket that they had to this point. So, see if all 4 could step up in this particular moment and try to slow down this Toronto team that, like you mentioned, had ran through Optic earlier today on this map mode combination. Here we go, protocol control, looking for the reverse sweep for Boston. Otherwise, Toronto find themselves in a very convincing spot, moving their way into Sunday. See how things go. Boston on the opening attack.
The break off already for Boston is approaching over towards this B Street side, but 2 gunfights don't initially go their way. Beans knows it's been a little bit too quiet. Let me just watch my zip flank, and that's already 4 dead.
And that's just one of those offensive rounds where Boston's just trying to create something weird. Yeah. And it just doesn't happen because Toronto, they clear out mid, and then you have to watch for your pinch. Now they're in your spawn. Beans holding over towards helicopter side while Boston will create an exit from their spawn for the time being. Snoopy looking for the same route, different result, and he will find it.
He's gonna find some kills on this pinch. Hopefully your teammates able to eliminate those players over towards Heli. You go 3 for 1, make it 4 for 1, so game clock now gonna be paused. You have made up for it in the lives remaining as well, and look at how aggressive Snoopy is.
And this is that moment where Snoopy just needs to hold this position, continue to force Ultra to spawn all the way at the top so your teammates only have to watch mid-ledge or the long route around the back. First tick is in. They did not stack it. It's only just the 1 tick for now. Toronto's now working their way around the back. Awakening trying to clean up over towards Gun. Not quite able to finish off the last bullet. Maybe Snoopy there for the follow-up on the damage, and the second tick of progress will be locked.
Yeah, but just leaving only 1 player on that A point is still giving opportunities for Toronto Ultra to find these breaks the entire time. Beans is just being a nuisance behind enemy lines. He was able to find 1 kill, pull the focus from Boston Breach coming off the respawn. Everybody else from Ultra retake through the middle of the map. So second segment does get locked, but 25 seconds to go.
Oh, Joe gets caught. Trying to play a little bit further forward. Beans Kleenex following up behind that. 22 seconds on the clock now. And Boston will have maybe 1 more chance to try to touch this. And it's Cammy for now, but he's immediately taken off to Hardpoint. So you've got Purge on one side of that, just trying to move the Toronto defense around, but it's just not working at all. And Boston may have lost their window of opportunity as they only have 10 seconds to get back to a point.
Oh, it's a big kill, though, from Awakening. Take down Beans. You find 3 in sync now. Just got to take care of Kleenex on the pinch. They should find themselves in a position to extend the game clock, but instead of stacking, we're trying to fight these difficult gunfights. Now Cammy, let's try to be Superman. Unfortunately, he gets isolated. 8 seconds left to go. Final push here for Boston.
Yeah, Beans is still on point. Beans is still on point. He's got himself 2. The pistol just to be bold, stunned to try to slow things down and get himself a reload. Up and over. Kleenex there for the help, and Boston can't get back to the zone. It's another one of those moments. This is what I was just talking about, where it's like Snoopy puts himself in a good spot beyond the A zone. No one's stacking, and we're letting them get the overextension?
That can't happen, man.
Can't.
You get all 4 dead. You know that they have to work their way around tower, or at least put someone in a position to watch that overextension if that's the way you're going to play.
Yeah, if we're not going to stack it, you have to watch the pinch through that plays.
But now you only have 2 segments. If you are Boston, before the map started, I said they prefer the attacking side rather than the defensive side. But Ultra, up 1-0, couple trophy systems to work with. Boston Breach, the break-off needs to be better.
Yeah. Just such a missed opportunity, man. Cammy good first and second blood over through sidewalk. Joe Deceives gets at least some sort of a trade with the Semtex, but largely speaking, Toronto's Ultra offense has been completely stalled out, and you've got Snoopy trying to play around the backside of your spawn.
Yeah, the good thing is, though, you still have insight in towards 10. Just keeping that power position, not going to allow the SMGs to get lost, but it's already been 30 seconds wiped off the game clock. Big read right there to inside to pick up the player on the pinch. Game clock now paused with some progression slowly working its way up towards A. Just got to eliminate Cam because he's going on a route.
Yeah. Contest is in, at least for a small moment. First tick of progress about to be locked in. Secondary focus now for Boston, trying to get Joe out of the point. He's got so much help, though, through the middle of the map. That's Kleenex right there behind him, trying to make his way over toward the Boston side of the map as Insight finds under the elimination, and now you can finish off this first tick, if not more, at the A zone.
And every single time Ultra are hopping on this 8 point, both players who are usually playing around 10, they are putting themselves in angles to instantly watch that pinch. Second segment should be locked unless Snoopy has anything to say about it. No, he's going to get taken down by Insight. But Ultra down by 1 life. A lot of map pressure here from Boston. You got to find kills.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about. Just look at the exact difference that when Boston were here versus when Ultra were here. Boston trying to hit the same long route, but Toronto aware of it, setting themselves up to deal with that pinch, and then as soon as you find that player on the extension, then you can take all your focus forward. They get the extra 60 seconds, pardon me, and we have now a 17 plays 17.
Already 2 kills go in favor of the squad in purple. Insight trying to line up a couple more, at least has the info. Both players are weak, trying to send in Kleenex to finish it out, but he was peppering both of those guys. Now Boston have a little bit of pressure through their spawn. They just need to stall out time.
Burge only finds 1. And middle of the map, Insight now can start to make the play over towards Staircase. You've cleaned out all the way through gun. Trophy system down. Insight going to zone a little bit further forward. Clock stops at a minute 17. 2 life advantage for Ultra. Here comes the re-break attempt, but it's really only a couple of members. Awakening finds 1, but that is not enough. Now you can stack it up, find at least a second, if not more. And Boston will have to try to flood this largely through tower side. Came's got to find an opener. Not going to happen. The stack is good. Toronto up 2-0.
Just too clean right there from Ultra on their approach. You have 1 player on that A point, but realistically, every single player from Ultra are in that play.
Yeah.
You're dominating your top 3 presence. You're making sure your flanks are being watched. And when Boston are finding themselves in good positions, only taking 1 kill and then dying is realistically doing absolutely nothing for you. So now backs completely against the wall. Down 0-2 in the series. Down 0-2 in the control. Boston looking for a spark.
Yeah. And on the other side, I know we're coming across like disappointed dads watching this Boston team right now in control, but Toronto's playing pretty damn well. Terrifying stuff. Nice opener from Cammy, shuts down Beans up top, but once again, here's the push through for Toronto, trying to work their way in towards Tin. Insight held at least somewhat at bay at mid-gun. Cammy's still stacking on for the first tick of progress, and they do shut down Kleenex. Here's a good moment here for Breach.
Fantastic moment here for Breach, but Purge, unfortunately, with the team kill, not going to make a difference. Clean 4 dead. Second segment should be guaranteed. They actually, realistically, should be able to extend this game clock.
Yes, they
All
should.
of Ultra spawn over towards tower. The nades don't connect. They have no chance at breaking. Now after Ultra, win a couple gunfights on the OE. Let's just get into this ball. Cause mayhem.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those moments for Ultra. You're trying to get the same thing developed that you had from the first defense. You're trying to work around, but you meet resistance this time. So you chalk it up. You just look for exit kills. That works out well, but they don't account for Awakening, who's made his way through field and now on to B point. Trades back and forth over towards Lockers, and a huge win from Cammy. Now 3 in a row, and that first tick at B starts to come through looking nice.
And now all of Ultra are coming off a respawn. So Cammy, your job is to just watch this mid-map OE. Unfortunately, gets a bad timing there. Have both of those players one shot, and now it's the last man standing in Awakening. He's trying to dance with death, unfortunately. He is going to get taken down. Now all of Boston coming off the respawn. They have a lot of time to work with. You just need to take your time.
Yeah, 2 life advantage, though, for the defense of Toronto. And you're starting to develop a couple of routes that Ultra can use to get around behind you. Whoa, hi, how are you? Snoopy shakes hands with Beans for a moment, and now you've got a chance to play around the backside of the Ultra spawns, but Dota Team shuts that down. Still now a 3 life advantage, and it's just a mess. It's just 1v1s all over the map.
And this is how Ultra prefer to play. Find a lot of one-on-one gunfights, put ourselves in a powerful position to win them. 2-2 split again. You know that Cammy's the only player on this B point. You're swanning so far if you're Boston that you're able to come back and help yourself in the play. But 13v9, Boston don't really have a lot of opportunities left.
Yeah, Ultra just collapses on it. They have so much control of the map that as soon as they start to see a vulnerability, they can just snap onto it really quickly. 11v7, make that worse. 11v6 as Cammy now trying to find a trade through middle of this PC position at P4. It's Kleenex trying to battle with him, and he'll get the better of him. So now it's just down to last chance saloon here for Boston. Only 1 respawn remaining, and that is now just down to the last 3 lives as Toronto just are not letting them get out of spawn.
Yeah, you still got Beans roaming. He's not going to be able to get a kill, but 10v2. Toronto are going to be able to lock this one up unless an absolute miracle happens.
Yeah.
Boston Breach, unfortunately, are going home.
Yep. The Cinderella story ends at the hands of Toronto Ultra. Still, though, for Boston, that's a heck of a tournament for you. You come out hot, you take down Thieves in a absolute stunner. You're battling tooth and nail with a really tough Vancouver team. It almost puts you in the winners' finals. But then you have to come immediately bounce back. You find yourself against a red-hot Toronto team that's just looking really, really polished. And again, you know, we look back at the bracket at some point, you're going to see that Toronto lost 0-3 to Cloud9, but that could have been a 3-0 the other way. I mean, that was one of the tightest series we've had this weekend at this point, so Toronto's feeling nice.
Oh, man, after the first day mishap, Toronto are undefeated on maps, 9-0 through the losers bracket, making everything look really, really easy, especially their search and destroys and their controls.
Yeah.
But you gotta feel for Boston, man, because that map number 1 was truly the deciding factor to how the series was gonna go. The mishap with the Hellstorm was the reason why you let that one go. And then the S&D, you just get funneled. The control, you haven't been good at it all season. Just a tough one to match up against this squad.
Just a couple of flukes, a couple of follies, a couple of mistakes, and I think just kind of watching them in control on the weekend, some very significant work that needs to be thrown into that mode in particular, the attention to detail and just kind of knowing what our protocols are as we start to falter and break down. That has to be locked in because the top teams in the league are starting to really grow a divide, I think, in that game mode in particular. So a decent effort for Boston, but Toronto looking really solid, really polished at 3-0 here. Really solid on both sides of the control zone as well. I mean, there's not a single stat line you can point to and say, you wish that was better. I mean, that was perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't get